Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Zenon Z3. This is the third in the Zenon trilogy, uh, basically Teenage Deep Space Nine. Well, not really. It's not. They doesn't have anything in common. In fact, this one actually they spend absolutely no time on the space station. They spend it on Earth, and they spend it on the moon. So yeah, and it's only like the year 2054 or something like that, 2054. They're holding Moonstock 54 on Earth and then also on the moon. Um, Xenon, of course, Xenon, if you haven't seen the previous episodes, the previous movies, these are Disney Channel movies, by the way. They're not like theatrical. It's not like, oh my God, you didn't see this in the theaters? No, it was never in the theaters. But you can tell by the budget that most of the sci-fi outdoor moon scenes look like they're cutscenes out of a 1995 video game. There's miniatures involved. There is some CGI, but you have to understand they were working with probably the smallest budget imaginable, and they probably did what they could do with it. It doesn't mean it looks great. It just looks good for the money they probably spent on it. And if they spend an awful lot of money on this, then they should be ashamed. Not for any other reason. But again, this is a story about a teenage girl who is somehow like this humongously famous role model type girl that everybody knows about. Again, I've only seen the second one, the sequel. I haven't seen the first one, but they kind of recap that in the sequel. She's just she's famous and popular as a girl who saved the world from a space station. In the last movie, she met aliens, the first contact with aliens, and this one, she's just in a race to the moon in her car that she just got her license for at the beginning of the episode. Like, she goes right from getting her smashing into cars, or smashing into pods. They're pods. They actually do pod racing. This is wizard. If you don't understand that reference, then you're not a Star Wars fan. Anyway, literally they see her go from barely earning her what do you call it, pod driver's license, and and then right after that she gets down to Earth, and then she gets in a pod and is in a moon race that goes into space. Goes to the moon. So yeah, that seems like a good idea. Anyway, yeah, so that all that excitement is the main storyline. And there's a bunch of other stuff. She gets a little sister, like a foster care little sister in a sense, or a cousin, because I can't remember who Stuart Pankin is. She calls him Commander, but I don't think it's not her dad. It's like her uncle or something. But she lives with them, with her uncle and her aunt. And by the way, Stuart Pankin is just like he's like the character actor of all character actors. He's been in everything for the last 40, 50 years. And here it looks like he lost a little bit of weight. He's just like he dropped a few pounds, and he's looking a little more gaunt than you're used to seeing him. Like if you look at the guy, you've seen him in a bunch of other stuff, but it looks like he's just sort of slimmed down right about this time, and it's kind of odd to see him looking so different than he did in the last 50 other things that you see him on the Disney Plus. Anyway, yeah, he and the aunt, they foster a girl who's 10 and just wants to be Zenon. That's the subplot. And so Zenon has to try to be cool to this new girl who's copying everything she does and follows her around and stows away in her spaceship, her pod, and gets into all sorts of trouble. She's Zenon 2.0. And there's that, and of course a subplot with protozoa. As you guys know, if you've seen the previous ones, he's a rock star, but he's on his way down at this point. Like, he's 31 and just too old to be rocking, and the kids don't appreciate him anymore, and he's not invited to Moonfest or whatever. Moonstock, like it's Woodstock, because it has the double O's, so they have to use stock, Moonstock. Never mind that Woodstock was a place. Whatever. Anyway, he has a digitally created robot that floats around, and the actor has to pretend that it's in his line of sight, or they add it to his line of sight when they filmed, after they filmed the scene. But yeah, he's got a fake British accent. I'm pretty sure it's fake. I'm pretty sure it's an American guy doing a really bad British accent. And he's dejected because the hot new band is a bunch of hot women who sort of just sing and dance on stage, and they play instruments too, but the lead singer is just young and pretty, and he can't compete with that. So has nothing to do with Zenon, but it puts him in the movie. There's also a guy, a cute boy, who is protesting the use of the moon for commercial reasons, that she sort of blows off, but also takes halfway seriously, and they become friends, and he helps her discover that the moon is in danger. And also a bunch of weird stuff is going on that's controlling what she does. And the weather all over Earth is crazy. It's freezing in Arizona, and it's like a desert in the Antarctic, and all sorts of weather phenomenon. There's cows floating in the air for some reason. All sorts of crazy stuff. I'm not going to give away the reason for all that. Not that you're going to watch this anyway, but still, there's flying cows, and there's a milkshake joke that goes along with it. But yeah, it's a Disney Channel movie. It's made for kids much younger than me, and it's not made for me. I think a bunch of 10-year-olds oh god, this was made in 2004. This is only 16 years old. Still, 2004. Oof, it's an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, maybe a bunch of 10-year-olds, maybe 8-year-olds would be totally stoked by this. The thing that it's a passable film. Its attempts to create a whole lot of different storylines. I think it would have maybe worked as a short, like, mini series kind of thing, rather than trying to cram all these storylines, these plot lines that really go nowhere and only serve to connect together in the last 10 minutes, in order to make it all work, and how they all survive Moonstock. Yeah. Okay, it's a space ghost. It's a goddess. It's a moon goddess that threatens everybody. I'm sorry, I let the cat out of the bag. It's a moon goddess who looks like a 90s punk rocker with another fake British accent. Maybe it's a real one, I don't know. But for some reason, the moon goddess looks like a 90s punk rock woman. And she threatens everybody to get off the moon. If you don't get off the moon by Earthrise, I'm going to kill y'all. It's a convoluted mess to get to that point, but that's not even really the worst part of this thing. For me, the worst part is the incessant use of bad future language and adjectives, all the adjectives. She has her little saying, and I can't even think of it right now, but it's not said as much as in the previous film that I saw. Sklorts, or whatever, I don't know what it is. But there's also, they use major and mega, and I don't know, it is just way too much future speak, to the point it's like a punch in the face every time they use it. it's just it's unsettling. I'm sorry. Um, anyway, that's the excitement of Xenon Z3. Honestly, if you're 8, 9, you might love this. And if you grew up during this time and you loved it, I mean, sure, there's plenty to love. And by the way, Raven Simone shows up for no reason except to be Raven Simone in the future. She was in the first one, what I'm told. She didn't make it for the second one, but they brought her back for the third, and she's literally only in scenes by herself, where she's standing in front of a green screen, wearing a future costume, and then like talks to a communicator or video screen, and then, hey, Zenon, things are crazy, and I'm Raven Simone. It doesn't say that exactly, but she does her Raven Simone thing, which is awesome. But I think it's like they may have been the marketing. Hey, Raven Simone's back. She's in 3-4 scenes. Watch it on Disney Channel. So yeah, that's all I can really say about Zenon Z3. At some point, I'm going to see the first one, and it'll be too soon, probably. So there you go. I don't recommend the film really at all, but some of you might get a kick out of it. It's a nice little future retro feel, as is actually said in the film. I think future retro. In order to justify Protozoa playing, despite how ancient he is at 31. Anyway, let's pick tomorrow's episode. 1. Holy crap. We got 1. We went from 768 to 1. And you know what 1 is, right? Numerically, what Disney film or series starts with the number 1? Or actually 10. 10. Anything after that is 101, but we have 10. And that movie is 10 Things I Hate About You. Right there. 10 Things I Hate About You. Assuming they haven't pulled it off, we got 10 Things I Hate About You with a young Heath Ledger and I can't remember the name, but the girl. But yeah, here you go. 10 Things I Hate About You. I knew this was going to happen at some point, but I can't believe this is the lowest number. We can't get much lower than 1. There's no 0 in this list. Speaking of which, by the way, while I have you, I did go through a list of every single thing that's been added to Disney Plus since launch. And I have a list of well over 240 new items. I have not added it to this list yet, but I will be soon. Well, eventually. Whenever it's justified. We'll see. There's surprises coming too in the near future. So, 10 Things I Hate About You on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye.